Hello, and welcome to the Sugar Mama podcast, where I mother the crap out of you. In this show, I talk about all things related to blood sugar with the intent of helping you get the unwanted, extra, dangerous sugar out of your body. I'm Jennifer Hoppert, a certified holistic nutrition therapist, certified dietary supplements professional, and owner of Produce Health Nutrition Company. Produce Health Nutrition creates both individual and corporate health and wellness programs based on science-backed nutrition research. If you want to know more, please check out my website, www.phncompany.com. Our show today is my very first podcast episode ever. So, without further ado, let's start the show. Is it time for you to do something about your high blood sugar, but you don't want to go on scary medication? Yeah. Well, you're in the right place, my friend, because you're here with the Sugar Mama. Hi, I'm Jennifer Hoppert, and because this is my first episode, I'm going to tell you a little background about me. So, I'm a holistic nutrition therapist and a wellness coach. I'm a certified dietary supplements professional. I've spent years as a nutritional health coach, and I'm also the founder of Produce Health Nutrition, where I create and present health and wellness programs for companies to share with their employees to help them optimize employee health and productivity, thus saving the company insurance and operating costs. Okay? But you are here with me right now, and you can just call me Sugar Mama. Now, just to clarify, I help people balance their blood sugar levels naturally without medication. So it's that kind of Sugar Mama, okay? Not the other kind. So, all right, let's get started. I know firsthand how challenging it can be to manage your glucose levels. And after years of working with clients one-on-one, I have put together a 12-week program for individuals to help them not only manage their blood sugar level, but just feel better, have more energy, and thrive naturally. So I created this program because I've worked with a lot of people. I've seen what works, what doesn't work, what they forget, what they're afraid of, what they're intimidated by, what they don't understand. So I've created this program to help them, where I'm with them week after week for the full 12 weeks to help them learn that this requires, it's not a diet you go on. It's a whole lifestyle change. It's an experience that you grow through, and you come out of it a changed person. Different opinions, different desires, different information. And that information is going to help motivate you and, kind of help educate you as to why you need to make these choices. So I really want to, impress upon you that when you make a change like this, it's not like, okay, well, I've done my little program for, my couple of weeks, and now I'm all better, and I'm going to go back to the things I used to do. It's not like that. You can't. You're forever changed, and you're forever changed for the better. So you don't want to go back. You spent so much time and energy and money getting to this point where you've been able to balance your blood sugar, and you've made lifestyle changes, diet changes. You want to keep those changes. It is the new you. It's a new lifestyle. So I created that program because I'm really excited. It helped me, and I think it can help you too. Okay? Now, this podcast, I'm creating this podcast because I want to give people simple, actionable tips for keeping their blood sugar in check, but to do it naturally without prescription medications. So in these episodes, I'm going to talk about everything from like nutrition and psychology, lifestyle habits, stress management, sleep. All of these things are going to play a key role in stabilizing your blood sugar, and you need to know about them. So also, for some extra fun, I also review some of my favorite books on this topic. So you can check them out for yourself and, see if they help you. I'm not taking any endorsements for talking about some of these books. I haven't, made any deals with anybody. They're just books that I've read and I thought were really good. Got a lot of good information from them. Got a lot of good motivation from them. So I'm going to talk about some of them and, what great content there is for you to learn too, if you want, if you're, if that kind of sounds like something you're up for. In upcoming episodes, I'll talk about specific holidays and give tips and strategies for how to breeze through and enjoy the special day, without feeling like deprived or without overindulging and going off the rails and spiking your glucose levels and spiraling into self-loathing. I'll also share some success stories that will hopefully inspire and motivate you to take charge of your own health. In this country, we have a holiday, just about every month of the year. I plan to spend about one of my 2 episodes per month to talk about how to navigate the challenges of upcoming holidays and special events, right? Because nothing throws you off base like a party. Like I said, in other episodes coming up, I will discuss the books that I've read on the subject and as a nutritionist, what I got out of the book. I am hoping to have some guests on as well in the near future, but that remains to be seen. I still have to figure the logistics out on that. I'm making no promises because I am just getting the hang of this podcast thing. Like I said, this is my very first episode. I'm sure many episodes later, I'll be cringing when I come back to this one and listen to how I did it. But you know what? You got to start somewhere. So here I am giving it a shot. We'll see how it goes. I hope it works. Okay, so I want to emphasize to you that I'm in this with you, right? And what does that mean? Well, let me give you a little backstory about me, okay? And that might help you understand what I mean by that. I grew up with a mom, who was more or less, she fed us healthy foods, I mean, we didn't get like sugary cereal or fast food or anything like that. We got it like once in a while, but not really very often. I remember being in grade school and eating in the little cafeteria at school, and all the other little kids would open their little brown bags or their lunch boxes, and they'd be pulling out like Twinkies and King Dongs and all those like 1970s type of processed dessert foods. And I was so pissed that my mom would never buy any of that for us. I mean, you just look at them. They're all like brightly colored and they're so soft and cakey and sweet. And oh my God, they looked so good. But I grew up and now I'm glad I didn't get that stuff. I mean, I never got that kind of stuff in my lunch, but I am so grateful because I never got that stuff in my lunch. So my mom, she wasn't perfect. But, I grew up like a pretty much regular American kid with a mom who was a little bit on the healthy side. Okay, so back to the point. As I was growing up, I was a pretty athletic kid, always playing sports, always playing softball or roller skating, ice skating, climbing trees, gymnastics, swimming, sailing, biking, racquetball, kick the can. I mean, racquetball and kick the can should give you a hint as to how old I am, by the way. So, don't judge me on that. Anyway, I don't know anybody who plays racquetball anymore. I mean, no modern kid even knows what kick the can is. I mean, if you think about it, I guess racquetball is kind of morphed into pickleball, maybe? Pickleball hardly holds a candle, though, to the fast-paced and often dangerous game of racquetball. If any of you guys have ever played that, I mean, that sport was played in a really small court with a little rubber ball ricocheting off at high speeds off of every wall, and your opponent usually flying past you 1,000,000 miles an hour, swinging a racquetball inches from your face. God, I loved racquetball. That was so fun. That was a fun sport. I used to always love the echo of the courts. Yeah, good old days. Okay, moving along. So I started growing up. In my 20s, I became a certified fitness instructor. I learned all about healthy eating. I was in fantastic shape. I'm giving you some background about my life. I was an active kid. I love sports. I became a fitness instructor. And this is all going somewhere. Stay with me. I got a point to tell you all this. So, I lived my life. And, 20 years passed. Eventually, I got married. I had a few kids. And like everybody else, started getting maybe a little bit thicker around the middle. After my second kid, I did gain some weight, but I was still like working out, doing Pilates, hiking on weekends, riding my mountain bike. I was even in a dance troupe for a year. I mean, I'm trying to show you that I had no shortage of physical activity. So, fast forward a while, you can imagine how surprised I was when I went for my annual checkup and saw that my blood test from that routine checkup told me that my glucose levels put me well into the pre-diabetic range. And this was a huge deal for me because type 2 diabetes runs in my family. And, I've lost a couple of relatives to that disease. So when I saw that on my test, I was like freaked out. I'm like, oh my God, how is this possible? I felt fine. I had no idea my glucose was rising so high. And my doctor didn't say a word to me about it. Nothing like, hey, we noticed your glucose is getting kind of high, or hey, you've crossed into the threshold. They just, here's your test, bye, So I discovered it while I was like sitting on my couch that afternoon looking over my test results, This was a big wake up call for me, I thought I was doing good. I was working out. I was eating kind of healthy-ish. Didn't eat fast food. But, here I am, pre-diabetic. And I'm like, what? So I want you to know, it was a big wake-up call for me. And if you find yourself in a similar situation, my friend, I really hope you take it seriously too. Okay? I don't mean to be a downer, but this is some heavy stuff. It's important. And in my episodes, trying to teach you why is it important, why you should take that seriously. Okay? So, to learn about food and to figure out some of those food hacks that helps us lose weight and get healthy, I enrolled in nutrition school. I had no goal. I just wanted to learn a little bit about food. I wanted to learn some of those food hacks that I'd always read about. Wasn't sure if they were right or not. But I also had 2 kids, and they had a few eyebrow-raising health issues, and I kind of want to learn a little bit more about those issues as well. So, I started taking classes. And man, did I learn a ton. I'm going to give a little shout out to Nutrition Therapy Institute. That's where I studied nutrition. And I loved every single class I took. And I learned so much. I got to admit, it was a little bit like drinking from the fire hose. So much information coming at me. And every single word of it was so important. I was stoked about sharing this information. So when I graduated with my nutrition therapist master certification, and I had learned all about nutrition and how processed foods are mostly void of nutrients and why that's bad, I learned so much about how our bodies use glucose and how to, naturally lower that blood sugar. So, I went a little nuts with it, I implemented some lifestyle changes in my family, started driving them crazy, and with all the changes I forced on them. Yes, they did become my little guinea pigs, but I was a mom armed with information to help my family. So family, if you're listening to this, you're welcome. You can thank me anytime now, And because it's my show and I can say what I want, I'm going to give another little shout out, but this time it's to all you moms out there who are working hard for your family. You're giving them all your love, all your energy, and you're trying to keep them safe. I get it. I see you. Keep it up. All right. So what am I? I'm off point. I'm going to try to get back to the point of my story. I was able to stabilize my glucose levels, bring it back down out of pre-diabetic range to a healthier, safer, normal range. And how did I do it? I didn't take medication. I did it with regular diet, with exercise, with supplements, and with stress management. Yes, stress management has a lot to do with glucose levels. And you know what? If you keep listening to my episodes, you're going to learn about it. Now, I have more energy. I got fewer food cravings. I'm not a carb junkie anymore. My digestion is better. I know how to, manage it so that I run into very little, if any, issues. I feel more in control of my health, and I love that. But I want you all to know that, this didn't happen overnight for me. It took me years to learn that all that nutrition and education, and then to use that education on myself. I had to change. When I got that test result, I was freaked out. I had to change. And it was hard. I did it by myself. And to be honest, I wish I had had maybe a little support along the way from somebody else. But it's okay, because like the silver lining is that I learned all that stuff, right? And that's what I want for you. I want to show you, to share with you what I learned, but I want to be your friendly, patient, supportive guide for how you're going to regain your healthy blood sugar levels. And it won't take you as long as it took me, because I've already walked that road and I've experienced all those pitfalls, all those traps. I have now forged that path for you. And if you stick with me, I'm going to show you the way to a healthier you. Okay? Stories like this, they really fuel my passion for what I do. I'm really excited to share my nutrition knowledge with you in my podcast episodes. And I'm just so happy to be here. And I'm happy you're here too. So in future episodes, I'm going to dive deep into the power of certain foods that help stabilize blood sugar. I'm going to talk about how stress impacts your glucose levels and how really kind of like small lifestyle changes can make a huge difference. These are the hacks that we're referring to. I'll also be bringing on maybe some friends, some family members, and then some other nutritionists, other experts to share their insights as well. So if you're ready to take control of your health and learn more strategies for balancing your glucose levels, be sure to subscribe to the Sugar Mama podcast so you don't miss an episode, because there's going to be a lot of good stuff coming down. I'm going to basically dump my education into this microphone over my podcasts, over my episodes over the next coming year and beyond. Who knows? Who knows where this is going to go? So if you want more personalized support, you should head over to my website. It's www.phncompany.com. You can also join my 12-week program that I talked about, where I'm going to work with you closely every step of the way, week after week, each week introducing new aspects of healthy living for balanced glucose. And of course, you can also follow me for tips and information on social media like Instagram, LinkedIn, and I am on Alignable as well. So there you have it, my friends. That's my first episode, my intro. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to my first episode. I'm so excited to be part of your journey to better health, and I want to thank you for being with me on my journey with my new podcast. Remember, every step that you take is a step closer to a healthier you, but you don't want to rush it because, we're really aiming for progress, not perfection. So, like I said, stay tuned to keep your blood sugar in check. Let's get happy, healthy, and wise together. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Jennifer Hoppert is a holistic nutrition therapist, master certified in the state of Colorado. Holistic nutritional therapists are not medical doctors and legally are prohibited from diagnosing, prescribing, or treating disease. Any information you receive from this podcast show should not be assumed as medical treatment and should not replace any medical diagnosis, prescriptions, or treatments from your doctor. Consult with your physician before trying any new supplements or exercise routines.